I didn't ask ChatGPT for a workout plan. I asked my Whoop. It's like based on months of data of knowing your respiratory, your this, your how much you sleep, all that stuff. This is what's optimized for you, where you should be. Okay, great. I think the world of AI trainers and maybe some accountability type people is going to be the new wave. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of After the Click. We've got a continued conversation here talking about the 8 niches or niches, or I have no idea how you even properly pronounce it, depending on where you are in the world, what the brand is, what the proof is behind it, what our thoughts on it. Josh has some really cool creative stuff we're going to be talking about. And Josh, literally before we press the record button, you said how excited you were about this episode. So give me your thoughts. Let's hear it. What are you pumped about for this one?
Man, Joe, I think, we talked personal brands, we talked high level sales on YouTube, and the last episode was pretty much creating everything, the hype towards this episode. This is like the Avengers Endgame, the personality game that we're currently seeing like on all these different platforms that like we watch every day. It's becoming a truly like a business model. And I think we all understand what personal brands are, because at the end of the day, we all have one. And I think that's what I'm so excited about, because it's relatable to everybody and anybody, even if you don't create content, which is how I think a lot of the personalities that we're going to talk about today, they had an interest. At some point, they really loved one thing, and they probably hung around other people that loved that one thing too. And they talked about it. They thought about it at all times. It's what they did on the weekends. They couldn't escape it. The same way that we always talk about marketing, these people would talk about one specific thing. And as we get into it, I'm really excited to do some of the gamification that we've done with this podcast at After the Click, because I'm really going to take you through all the different stages of the available niches that are out there. And I want to get your thoughts. I am so addicted to learning more about this stuff that I just want to bounce these things off the wall with you, Joe. Are you ready?
Bro, I'm ready. Let's rock and roll with it.
All right. So for today, I pretty much broke it down into 8 niches, mostly because I think it's a easy way for us to kind of take a step back, see what the big ones are that we can easily talk about. But this whole thing can become a debate of, are there niches or are you the niche? And that's a whole other episode. So we'll just kick it off with this one. So Joe, these are personalities that you're probably familiar with.
Indeed.
We have the business and teaching your trade type of people. These are people that are in consulting. They probably have a course or some type of mastermind. As you can see on the screen here, we have some really popular people: Alex Ramosi, Justin Welsh, Sam Ovens, and one of the biggest people in info, Iman Ghatzi. And so in one way or another, no matter how you feel about these personalities, they do one thing very well, and it's provide people with value. And they provide people with value based on what they know about business. And I think people in our space, Joe, have probably seen these people end up in our, YouTube algorithm or TikTok or Instagram, because we kind of look at these type of stuff, right? And it's not just like people in business, but there's also chiropractors who teach other chiropractors.
Sure.
There's agency owners who teach other agency owners. This is, I think, probably there's niches within this niche, but I just kind of pulled some of the more popular ones to kind of be like, hey, you've probably seen them before. This is kind of the people that are setting it up to allow other people to run free. Joe, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think about this niche?
Well, it has drastically grown in the last, I want to say 5 years, like drastically. And I think there are really good sides to it, but I think that there's more crap out there than there is gold, if you will. And we talked about this before too. There are so many people out there who have tinkered with marketing. They've gotten borderline lucky with one client. Maybe they're running ads, for example, and they've just started tinkering with it, and they were able to get like a really high multiple ROAS. and now they claim themselves as the meta ad guru. And they've only done it for one like sub industry or niche and haven't done it for everything else. And they're claiming they're an expert on it. There's so many of them out there. It's so much of what YouTube is.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that talk about it, and they run out of things to talk about because they only know so little of it. And then they're using ChatGPT or Claude to create their scripts for them of stuff they don't even know what they're saying. They're just reading from it, and then the channels die, right? But there's also people who have gotten a lot of success because they got really good editors, and they're good bullshitters. I think,
Yeah.
oh man, I mean, like, look, I can appreciate everything that Elon has done to be where he's at today. Fantastic.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of where he's gotten at today is because he's sold a really good story that is a misrepresentation of the true story. And in a legal world, it's the prosecutor going after the fence and just painting this picture of like, this is how bad they are. Like, that's not true. You're making it seem that way. He made it seem like all these things were horrible, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not saying it was perfect. He made it seem he's gotten loads of success on all these other components. He made his money by selling his knowledge to others. And then guess what all these people do? I mean, it's a very cult-like following.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he's the man. And then they see him driving a cool Lambo. Let me try this. And it's low ticket stuff that maybe gets to some high ticket. But these suckers out there think like, well, if I just buy the next thing that he offers, that'll help me. You know how many different agencies where they're like, I grew an agency and then shut it down. And you're going to tell me how to run an agency? If it was that good, you'd still have it going, or you would have sold it for an insane amount of money, right? That's not the case. So I think Iman, he's interesting. He does offer great advice, right? He's a total influencer in my mind, and people want that life. They watch his videos, and he does a great job of telling a story, being someone from overseas, and people are just like, dude, I want your life. I want to open up a briefcase full of Richard Mille watches in Dubai. All these 20-year-old marketers want that, and they dive right into it. Hormozi, on the other end, he's my age, way different, loads of value. And if anything, if there's anyone's feedback who I'm really going to listen to over anyone out there that talks about growth, acquisition, advertising, marketing, sales in general for teams and growth, not only has he done it, yes, he's done it he started in one specific industry, right? Then grew to others. Now he has acquisition.com and all the other things in between that, right? And who comes to him and who uses him for his services? Loads of these niches. We're seeing reels right now of people being like, hi, I make $15 million a year selling light bulb paper clips to blind people. I'm coming up with something random, right? And he's like, what? Yeah, let's tell me more about what's working, what's not. Like, you want to talk about like the ultimate facility of knowledge absorption. Like, he is getting smarter every day because of the people that come in and talk to him about generic marketing, sales, growth aspects. Both parties are learning.
Yeah.
Like, so you want to talk about the man who, like, he's got those people there. If someone knows how to sell a upside down candle company, right? Like, he probably worked with someone that did it and has some kind of insight. Now, those are the two I'm most knowledgeable about. I'd like your thoughts on what I just said, but also on these two other characters.
Yeah. To start off, I think your argument on, call it, Iman. I think Iman is the perfect example of someone who can do a really good job selling the lifestyle. And I think that's why this niche has been tainted, because it
You said it
became a
right.
niche.
You're right. Tainted. That's the exact right word.
Yes. It became a niche of, can I sell information by selling a lifestyle? And that is so far from what, like, this, it's so far from what this should actually be. It baffles me that there are people who like fall in line and end up doing everything that he tells them to do because all they want is that one outcome, which is Dubai, supercar, Richard Mille. And I get it. I think I was once like young and naive, and I would consume all his content. And then later, I think you realize there's other people out there that are probably really good at doing what, Iman is telling other people to do, but they actually do it right. And I think like a Hormozi type, where you mentioned, early in your yeah session, you said there are people out there who do it once and and then they say, I'm an expert in this. And I think there was probably a world where Alex could have been that guy, but he did it over and over and over again with gyms to the point that I think you can probably figure it out with most more businesses, how to scale them. And now he's in a place where he's blown up. And like you mentioned, the reels, like people come to him and they ask him for advice because he's done it over and over again. I'm right there aligned with you, Joe. And I think this world will continue to have more of these because that's just how it goes. Now, to tell you a little bit about like Sam Ovens, and it's funny that these two are next to each other. So, Sam Ovens, he is a founder of consulting.com. If you don't know, Iman bought consulting.com, and I think they have some beef. And I think consulting.com was essentially created by Iman, one as a big middle finger to Sam, but also like I think the whole point of consulting.com is like their headline is consulting firm helping digital businesses through software, service, and strategy. And I think one of their big like things that they have within this is their monetize program. And monetize was created by Iman. So that's a whole rabbit hole that you can go into. Like monetize just teaches other people how to sell info, and it's like a whole WOP offer, Whoop offer. It's within his like bubble. And Sam now, he is the co-founder of School. So he also has a tie
Mm.
with Mr. Hermosi here. There's some people that is are would say that some ovens is kind of like another one of those personalities that they don't know how legit he is. He was kind of like a he left his corporate job, he dropped out of college, he started consulting. Like a consulting business from his parents' garage in New Zealand. He was like the no investors. He had debt or outside funding. So he kind of had this whole like from the trenches. CreateConsulting.com. It was like an e-learning company that licensed training programs. He had like this whole also setup, which was like in this ecosphere. I think some people really at a young age were either followed Sam or Iman or maybe even both. And then maybe for some of our older folks, Justin was one of those guys who uh, he was known for doing like a one essay every Saturday. He writes a lot. I think his thing is like this is in his about page on his website. Hi, I'm Justin. I write one essay every Saturday for ambitious people living and working on their own terms. For more than a decade, I lived the kind of life ambitious people are told to want. I helped build two companies past $1 billion in valuation and raise more than 300 million in venture capital. So what Justin talks about a lot is just like there's so much that you can do as a business owner. You can be more efficient. And he really just like promotes a lot of this, like, like I work 4 hours a day and this is how I do it. And there's people that follow him because there's entrepreneurs that want to be like solopreneurs that just kind of take a step back. And I would say that Justin is more on the Alex side. So a volume and volume and volume of just information. And I would almost say like unironically, this was split up pretty well where like if you're
Right,
young and
right.
really want to learn, go the Alex and Justin route. If you want to be inspired, but don't take it as the gospel, Sam and Iman are pretty good people.
I agree. And you're right. Selling the what do people want? Alex is like, look, here's the blueprint that makes you make more money. Great. And Iman's like, see me with my cigar and my Rolls Royce and like cool rap music and like bodyguards and like
Yep.
baggy shirts. Like it's the lifestyle he's selling.
It's a lifestyle. So I think this is a pretty interesting niche because if you enter it, there's essentially two ways that you can go. And I think the young bucks replicate this, but anybody with good screws in their head, they'll know who the real teachers are. But that's
I
one
agree.
niche, Joe.
Agree. Okay. Let's go to the next one. I'm ready.
This is one that we're familiar with, and honestly, one that a lot of people have probably had like some sort of life impact with. So this is the personal finance and investing like niche. These are the books, paid newsletters, courses, fintech deals, and one of the largest audiences on the internet. Now, Joe, we both used to work for a personal finance creator, and we know like it's a really popular niche. People really value what some of these personalities have to say. And I think why and I think the reason why it will continue to grow is because of the way that the world is kind of going right now. a lot of people still complain about, their spending power, how much they're making at work, how to combine finances with their spouse. There's so many different angles to this, right? Is real estate still a good way to, you know, make your money for retirement? Should you just rent for life and invest in the stock market? There's so many different angles to this. And we have people here who have done a really good job. We have Ramit, which I think Ramit might be like one of those successful ones that really made it mainstream. I forgot what his book is called, but it's
It will teach you to be rich.
I Would
How
Teach
to
You to
be
Be
rich, one of
Rich.
those. Oh my god. Yeah.
Amazing SEO on that.
Yeah.
He has his courses, and then he had his Netflix deal. I don't know if you remember that. He was like
Mhm. Nope.
interviewing couples and stuff. You have Graham Stephan that I think inspired a young generation to really think about real estate in a different way. And then also How to Be Cheap, but that's neither here or there. And then there is probably the number one, like the GOAT of personal finance, right? Probably like the Tom Brady of all this, Dave Ramsey. And whether you agree with him or not, he's built probably one of the most mega corporations ever in this space. And I don't see this niche stopping. I think younger people will continue to talk about money. They will continue to break the fact that it's taboo, that you can't talk about this with friends, that you can't talk about this in the dinner table, because it is the thing that drives us. Whether you like it or not, it's the number one way that we get to live our life. And I think people are going to want to hear more unique takes. They're going to want to hear it from more unique backgrounds. And this is a niche that if you open the door to it and you really commit, there's some real serious money behind it.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed. I think, yeah, this is a never ending niche where there will always be more sub niche personal brands coming out. When I first got into working with YouTubers, the hot one were the cryptocurrency channels. They're all like dead now. Not like physically, but the channels are, right? I mean, they lost traction completely. But at the time it was hot. Now guess what? There's going to be, for every cryptocurrency fad or whatever you want to call it, it's never going to end. It's never going to end. It'll always, as technology evolves, as everything evolves, there always will be something. I think these guys, I respect them. I like Ramit the most out of all of them. And I think, his values when it comes to people, not just that are not fake rich and not even that think that they're rich, but I'm saying like have an extraordinary amount of wealth where they don't know what to do with their money anymore. It's so much coming in, and all of them say the same thing. All of them, for the most part. A Lamborghini or a Huracan or 20 mansions is not going to make my health better.
Mm.
A Lamborghini and all this stuff isn't going to, for men, or for whatever way, find me a spouse that loves me for me and is truly in it for their heart and not monetarily. Money cannot buy that. And all these people eventually, I'll tell this story here, and I forget who told this story earlier. I saw this on someone's channel, but there
Mhm.
was some guy who from another country, and he came to America, and he was doing some type of service. Let's just say it was landscaping, for example, right?
Mhm.
And he worked like 25 hours a week, and he was happy with that. It paid for the roof over his head, paid for food for his family, for his kids, paid for his car. He paid for just what he needed and what he wanted, nothing else. And I'm sure there was some savings along there too. And the American guy comes along and he's like, dude, but if you just like double your time and work like 40 hours a week, you know what story I'm telling? Have you heard this before?
Yeah, yeah. But keep
Yeah.
on telling it. I think it's a
Okay.
good one.
Yeah. If you work 40 hours a week, you'll be able to grow this business. You'll be able to get 5 more trucks and be able to do this. And he's like, oh, really? Okay. And then what? And then you'll have to move to New York City, and you have to expand a big corporation. You have to do all these things, and it just grows and grows and grows. And there's so much money involved, et cetera. And the guy's like, okay, yeah. And how long will that take? He's like, well, to grow it and to have this huge eggs, it'll take like 20, 25 years. All right. I got it. And then what? Well, then you can retire. And then what do I do? Then you can spend time with your family and your kids and work less than like 20 hours a week. But I'm doing that right now. And I think Ramit's mindset is exactly that. It's
Yeah.
do what makes you happy, do what makes your family happy. You're impressing yourself, not to impress others. Who cares what other people think? What do you prioritize over other things? And then just focus your money on what you really prioritize and like in life. And it's easy for people who there are people who are multimillionaires, if not billionaires, who are miserable, right? And there are people who are homeless who are a lot happier. Not saying I would take one over the other,
Yeah.
but I think Ramit really pushes that true mindset. Now, when it comes to those other two guys, I mean, look, they're always going to have something to talk about. However much experience they have in it, whatever. They build a personal brand, fantastic. My opinion, do I think that they're really happy? I don't think so. I think they do a great job at selling the dream of what other people may want to hear and just tidbits of stuff that makes people feel like they're going to be wealthy and rich. But are they, in fact, the happy ones themselves? But that also goes with a whole bunch of content creators. That's a whole nother episode on its own, right?
Yeah. No,
Being on
yeah, I
camera
think
is one thing, the reality is a whole nother thing. Anyway, so personal finance investing side, I mean, dude, cryptocurrency was a fad. There's going to be these like flying car drone things. Duroni, I think, is one of the companies I invested in. It's like this, I think it's either, I forget what's called, begins with a D. And it's like this flying, like 2-seater, like drone. And like
okay.
it fits in a 2-car garage. And it's like, it's the freaking future, man. People are going to be talking about investing in that stuff. Like there's an endless amount of stuff to invest in. And it's the future is nonstop evolving. Like Nvidia is never going to stop innovating.
Never.
It's never. And with AI right now, I mean, look at all those people saying, here's how you can make money doing this AI job. A whole new sub niche and making money, personal finance, right?
Yeah.
Side hustles. And I think the last thing I'll say is for the next future generations and such that have the internet at their fingertips so easily like this, the options are, look, there's no excuses. The options are endless.
Options are endless. I really like how you broke this one down, Joe. I think there's always going to be something new. And the one consistent thing in our life will forever be the money we used to live. And so this is a very strong niche. And we're gonna keep getting into some that are probably like more unique. With I think fitness and health being one of those niches that are just you do it or you don't. Like there's no like the food niche, everyone appreciates food. Even if you are like jacked to the tits, you can enjoy somebody watching, like you can enjoy watching somebody eat at their favorite restaurant and rank it.
Yeah.
If you're a foodie and that's all you do during the weekend, you'll love seeing that kind of content, right? But in the fitness and health, it's kind of like black or white. You can still not be in the best shape, but be inspired by these guys and actually follow the blueprint. But you can't have someone that's just like half-assed being a part of this niche and like really enjoying it because there's really no purpose to it, right? If you're not going to the gym, why are you watching guys work out and give you the best tips? I would almost say that in the fitness and health niche, this is one of those audiences that is probably the most primed
Mm.
to get closed on an offer. Now, I pulled some really big names here just because the fitness niche has it's so big and there's so many people like offering different things. But we have here Jeff Nippard, Athlete X, which is one of the OGs
Mm-hmm.
in YouTube. And then we have Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead is now part of the whole he has this whole like line of products. It's like Sebum. He has the energy drinks, the pre-workout, the creatine, the protein bars. He became, I think, truly like a business mogul by partnering up with the right private equity firms that just buy these fitness brands. He has an app that teaches you how to work out exactly the way that he worked out to win Mr. Olympia. And you know, we have all these other personalities too that have offered the ebook, the coaching. I'm not sure if they have apps of their own, but this niche offers you that. And I think the one-on-one coaching is maybe where I would say like the quote unquote normal people who have great Instagram accounts, great TikToks, and maybe smaller YouTube accounts. Like that's where the coaching is going really well because they can essentially decide it's like, I'm going to transform your life and look at
Mm-hmm.
all my other clients. It's like being visually attractive. It's one of the maybe number one desire of most people, at least top 5 of all time. Because by being more attractive, by being fit, not only are you you attract more of what you want and you hopefully get to live a longer life,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is one of those niche, like it's a niche that I just think, yeah, if you have a great offer and a great funnel, dude, you can build this up to be truly something that like impacts the industry. The same thing, the same way that Sebum did.
Yeah. I think this is, I've worked with a few big fitness influencers as well. One of them was like a 7-time Mr. Olympia, which
Jeez.
was great. But here's the common failure point where I see this industry going. So people watch this content, and there's the one way of it, which is, a very high 90 some percentile, I'm willing to bet, of the content or courses or whatever. Does it get someone permanently fit? I'm saying
Mm,
very low percent doesn't work. The people that I totally get it, right? The people that truly need it need discipline, need the lifestyle change. They need a personal trainer. Now, these guys, they have gone past that. Like, you can only take so many clients a day, a week, a month. Like, time runs out.
yeah.
And you can keep increasing your price until it's unrealistic, and you're capped, totally capped. And sure, you could do the apps and all that other stuff, and that's great. Here's what's, I think, in the world now of, what's his name, Brian, the guy that exited PayPal, 800 million. Now he like lives his life on like pills and exercise and data. He's
I,
gonna live
I
to like
I
a
know who you're
million.
talking about. Yes, he's like super optimized.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
takes his like son's blood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wild, right? So I think from a lot of, he's got some great information, to be honest with you, other than
Hmm.
maybe taking his son's blood, right? But great information. I think we're growing into, here's the future of where I think this industry is going. Just today alone, right? I went to the gym. Okay. What do I do when I go to the gym? I think every fitness trainer out there would say, if they say, I'm going to the gym, what should I do to lose weight or gain well, let's look at your current body comp. But like, everyone's has a tailored answer to that question. Everybody, how tall you are, your body composition, there's loads of variables, right? And then how do these, other than seeing you and then maybe doing some tests on you, blood work maybe to then suggest something that will likely do well, but who knows, right? The Whoop, right? The Aura Ring, all these other devices. Apple's about to come out with one. It tells you exactly where your body's at, where
Mm,
your mid-range heart rate is, your high range of heart, everything. It's the ultimate. This is what you need to do to go to the gym trainer. It's not the person, but it's the ultimate. This is what do you want to do by what time frame? It knows your body better than any trainer does. It knows everything that's going on, the good ones.
yeah.
I didn't ask ChatGPT for a workout plan. I asked my Whoop. It's like based on months of data of knowing your respiratory, your this, your how much you sleep, all that stuff. This is what's optimized for you and where you should be. Okay, great. I think the world of AI trainers and maybe some accountability type people is going to be the new wave, because there's only so many times that these fitness trainers, well, everyone knows you eat less, you burn more. Like, you eat less calories than you burn throughout the day. Okay. Get up and move. Yep. Get 8 hours of sleep. Okay. Alcohol's a poison. Got it. Everyone knows this. But why is most of the country still overweight?
Discipline.
Bro, a double cheeseburger at 11:30 at night is delicious. I mean, like, come on, right? I like ice cream. Like, it's out there teasing us. So anyway, I think of all these guys here, I'm wondering if in the next turn of content, they're going to have to restructure because technology has advanced to be able to do a better job at creating a workout plan for people than they are. Like,
Mm,
yeah, sure, nutritionists they get all this data and stuff, but where do they get their data from? Your blood work and all this other stuff, right? And what has that information? These things, and they don't prick you, but like, we're getting there.
yeah, and I mean, I'm even seeing services now where I don't know if you get these ads, but they essentially have like a monthly subscription to these to monthly blood work. So it's just like you put it here, you prick it, right? Gets the blood in like 2 minutes. That's their pitch. You send it to the lab, and each month they're telling you like, here are what can you call it? Like your blood KPIs. It's like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like here's everything that's working for you, things that are not working for you, and like how to improve it. I'm sure that there will be a day where you can say, I just want to be optimized, and you plug it all into a cloud project if you're willing to give it that much information. You give it what Swoop is telling you, you give it what your blood work is telling you give it your goals. Maybe you have like the body composition scans where you're going and you keep updating it, and it'll probably really tailor something for you. Where I still think that these creators can be successful is that to get E-Bump's body, like C-Bum, which is like Chris Bumstead right here. He knows like how to do it, what's the process, what it takes. And it's kind of unique to him. It's like, yeah, can you probably get close to it by telling Claude, like, give me the C-Bum workout plan, make no mistakes? Maybe. But I think there's still a desire to work with someone that you admire, or at least take their products or their courses, because the ideal goal is to be like them.
To be like them or get the results that they believe that they're getting. Like why do men lose weight? Is it because they're just suddenly concerned with their health? They lose weight because they want to look better, to talk to more girls,
Exactly.
to do this and that, all these that's the real result after it. And they think like, oh, this is a way to show off. It's what happens after they get that body.
Yeah. No,
So
and I think in a year from now, if we ever revisit this topic, I think the looks maxing
God, yeah.
might be what ends up kind of like taking over fitness and health. But that was our niche number three, Joe, and we're gonna
Yes,
step
let's go on to the
into
next one here.
career and executive coaching. And I think this is one that you can probably be a more of an expert at than I am, because you've helped great coaches who coach other people. So you know exactly this, right? This is like maybe these stars, maybe this niche doesn't have as many stars. I mean, we have two really big ones here with Tony Robbins and Patrick Bet David. But the people that have made it big, they've made a huge impact in the industry. Like
Uh-huh.
these are huge names. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, Joe.
I think it's never going away. I think if anything, look, there's when I think that let's go back to like the first one we we're on marketing stuff, right? There are people who have
Hmm.
done it, who can explain it and teach it well. Then there's bad advice, right? I still think for people in here where the industry's going for these like I'm 24, I'm going to give you life advice. Like you haven't lived a life to give me life advice. I'm not going to listen to what you
Yeah.
say. You can read enough stuff to give decent advice, and it's just regurgitating other people's information at that point. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And I think everyone deserves a career coach, a mentor, someone that they should follow and listen to without it being culty. I think it's so inspiring, and everyone's career trajectory is different.
Hmm.
And not just industry wise. Some people just like, hey, I like being a front desk assistant, and my dream is to just maybe keep doing this at maybe a place that's closer to home for less hours, making the same amount of money so I can spend time with my family. They have no interest in climbing the ladder, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think these career people, it's not just career individualized career. What is your this goes back to Ramit's stuff, right? What is the definition
Yeah.
of success, and how can a career help you with that? So I think, I mean, from both guys, more Tony than anything. Tony's probably the ultimate, in my mind, career executive mentor I've listened to that has given really, really sound advice from experience, And we're just going to get more and more and more of these. So I'm a huge fan of this industry. I think it's not going anywhere for sure. I think if you have this is what my agency grew as, helping coaches and consultants. If you were a CEO and grew it and have great advice to help others, there are the people that are willing to pay you and listen to you.
Yeah.
It's the time and the wisdom that people are willing to pay for in this specific area for sure. And I think there's the more sub niche you get down into it, the better. It almost has to be. Now these are big golden globe dudes, right? They're talk about all kinds of stuff, right? You want to grow that? They're flywheels all over the place. And they've been able to because they've started with one thing. They didn't start with everything.
Hmm.
So for anyone else who wants to start an industry like this, you have to hyper niche it down, which I work with so many coaches, executive coaches on this stuff. Is it women helping other women grow in the executive field who feel like they're not being heard? Is it, I'm just rattling off a bunch of them. People who are software engineers who want to get in and grow their career in sales and want that guidance to do so in the growing IT market, right? It's not like I'll help your career, period. It's very specific based on what they've been able to achieve. So I think
Hmm.
there's going to be a lot more sub niches of career executive coaching. I mean, I'm seeing loads of it right now. And I think it's a underutilized area. I really do. And the number one, I'll leave it with this too. This is another idea of Joe that I would love to kick off, right? I think I think that the world knows that millennial dads moving forward are different than dads of any other generation. Uh, we cook in the kitchen. We change our kids' diapers. We watch our children. We know how to bathe them. We know how to take them and there's nothing wrong with previous generations. Men didn't do that,
Yeah.
right? They went to work in a suit. They smoked in an office. They came home. Honey, I'm home. The food was there. The wife stayed home. She like these old traditional mindsets are long gone. And millennial dads, especially like girl dads, right? It's just a whole different world of a girl dad today.
Yeah.
And I think that type of coaching, being a great dad, there's a lot of good stuff out there, but I could see a growing sub niche of that stuff, of personal brands ramping up in the next few years.
Wow. I, I, I wouldn't even argue against it because I think there's so much of that where it's just like, it's going to scale away from just coaching executives. I think it's going to be coaching like, hey, who's the CEO of the home? Most of the time, it's the wife, and I'm sure there's also going to be like wives, like badass women who teach other women how to be badass at home as well, right? And the same way that there's been people who teach other people how to be badass CEOs. This is going to continue to grow. And that's why I love like this topic of personal branding and these niches because it's never ending. But we have our fifth one here. I don't know if you've ever fell into this trap of productivity and self improvement, Joe.
Most
And
certainly have.
I call it a trap because I see it as a bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay, tell me more.
Mostly because there's these creators, and I love Ali Abdaal. I think he's a great guy. But if you start seeing his content, if you watch a year of Ali Abdaal's content after he became a doctor, post like doctor career, you watch a year and you've probably seen enough. Like that's okay. Because if you're doing productivity and self-improvement year after year, there's only so much that you can do to make yourself that much more productive. You know how you really make yourself productive? You have a personal assistant and a team that does things for you. Even if that's like a team at home who's cleaning the house or you have a chef that's cooking your meals. Like there's only so much that you can do for yourself. And I think that's why this is a niche where I'm like the lifespan of this niche if you're a creator is probably short because you give the advice that you know, and after that, that's about it. But I think if you do it well, you can make a pretty good bang for your buck. And so I think the normal funnel for this, right, is like you have the free content. You probably have some type of template to improve your life. And these people probably also fall within some of the like the money niches as well, because they'll be like, this is my budgeting template that made me like so much more efficient. Or this can even be like part of the mommy niche, right? It's like, this is how I plan my family's calendar month after month. And there's so many different ways that this can be done. I mean, Ali Abdaal, like I mentioned a little bit ago, he was teaching other medical students how to study and how to be more productive and how to ace their tests. And after this, he kind of realized, I think I can teach other people just how to be more productive in general. And that
Mhm.
worked really well for him. And then over here on the left side, I have Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank became very, very popular. Oh, we have a special guest. And I go back to the same thing. How much more efficient can you become with Notion? It's like even now, Notion AI, I can ask it to build me whatever I need and it'll build it. I just have to fill in the information. Even then, I can give it the information and it'll fill it out. This is one of those niches that I wouldn't be a betting man on. But after hearing my little
I have a
rants,
different thought, so
yeah,
I'm ready. Go ahead.
after hearing
Okay.
my little rant, I want to hear what you have to say, Joe.
I think okay, to complement your point, I think as a whole, you're right, with Ali Abdaal stuff, there's only so many ways to focus and make a productive day and be on top of your to-do lists and this, that, and the other thing, and I get it. Focus, this, that, and the other. Totally understand. There are new tools coming out, feels like every day, and if you ask me to make a channel on productivity, I feel like I could totally do it and just hop on AppSumo and just tinker my life away, being unproductive, right? Seeing what productivity tools are new and work well to enhance, like, dude, like the day and age of like an AI bot coming into a meeting, right? Okay, helps with this to be able to advance and create meeting notes and, blah, 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 and like that's evolved. There's new tools for that type of stuff where the bot doesn't come in, and then integrations. Well, then Notion now integrates with this bot that integrates with your this, with which integrates with this, right?
Yeah.
And like these new integrations keep happening with Claude Code. Every day there's a new video of like a new integration I came up with, right? Imagine if you're able to be completely hands off with email follow-ups, completely hands off with financial spending and investing. Like I created a workflow that does this, that reads this, that understands my mind of what I want to put my money into, that takes this out, that pays this bill, does this, that tells me, and then at the end of the day, it tells me you have this much to do. Like it does everything. Like there's no one tool that other than high level that does way too much. There's like, there's so many tools that are coming out now with AI advancement that can create topics to talk about of like, I was able to, this used to, before computing and blah, 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 all you could see, this was a 12-step process. We condensed it down to a 3-step process. There's going to be a way to get to 2-step process and a way to get to a 1-step process through tech. So
Mm.
that's kind of how I look at it. I think it's never ending with advancements based on integrations and apps and new technology, and especially this AI app technology of what it's capable of to be like in self-improve. I talk about like the fitness thing, right? Like
Yeah.
imagine a watch or a tool or something, and this may already be out. I have no idea, right? And like it today, based on all of your efforts on your body composition, you're going to be doing this level of upper body, and it knows when your failure points are. And it's like, okay, grab this weight. Like there's no guessing, right? Okay. And like, okay. And it's like buzzing as you're going up. Okay. And it knows exactly how much to do, when to do it, start, stop. Like, I think it could get to a point of like, there's no thinking anymore.
Yeah. And that is a big goal for a lot of people. It's just like, how can I optimize my life to where I just make decisions? But I definitely see where you're going with that, Joe. And it's like, I mean, the extreme side of it is like, have you ever seen the movie Wally?
Yes.
Yeah, right, where everyone's just sitting around their hover chairs and everything's being done for them. Well, I don't think we'll be alive to see that happen. But, and knock on wood, if this comes out tomorrow and we get struck by lightning, that would really suck. But
Right.
I think like after hearing everything you had to say, I'm like, you know, you and I could probably dedicate the next year of our lives like developing an app called like Life OS, and it does everything that you've ever desired, right? You connect it through Plaid for all your bank accounts. You tell your financial goals and it'll like shape you to do that. Life OS will also determine what workouts you're doing. It will ask you weekly questions on how your relationship is going. So it can have brief insights on how, you guys are doing as parents and as partners. It might also do like careers where whether it's optimizing your email or optimizing your growth, it's just like doing everything for you. So it makes you the most productive version of yourself. So you log in the morning and you see exactly what you should do to be more productive and get that self improvement you've always desired. A part of me thinks that group of people that want that is probably very tiny. But you go online and you search up how to be more productive. And it is, I'll go like do this on YouTube and you see video after video.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like this title now is like rinse to like, there's nothing left to it. But how to be so productive, it feels illegal. This is Dan Martell,
Yeah, yeah, I feel like I told you that, yeah.
1.6 million views.
Yeah.
Sam Ovens, who we talked about earlier today, is like how to be more productive. His quantum mastermind recording, 248,000 views. There's one that's like stick figures that are probably not even like actually drawn. They're probably AI drawn stick figures. How to be so productive it feels illegal, in parentheses, no motivation needed. 947,000 views. And it's video after video after video. Being productive is easy, comma, actually 1.6 million views. So I have a hunch, but I'll gladly say if someone builds it right, it might make a killing.
It will certainly make a killing, but I think it'll reverse. I do, I do. We'll see.
Joe,
Okay, creator
Joe,
economy. Ooh,
Joe,
okay.
Joe, Joe, Joe. This is one that I love
Ready.
mostly because I think these are people that I actually really admire in the same way that, there are kids who admire like Iman because he's like a pro of teaching other people how to run their info businesses. I think that the world of creators teaching other creators how to be better at their craft is quite amazing because you're these guys and women have essentially gotten such a deep understanding of what it means to be a creative, but also how to be a marketer. Because in order for them to get their offers and be as successful as they are, like they essentially not only got the contents out of things, which is already incredibly difficult, like getting people's attention and making them become fans of yours. And then you layer the offer on top of that, you've mastered the two best things that you could ever master in this digital space. And so here, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these, but we have the 505 podcast. So this is Braden Figueroa and Costas Garcia. They are filmmakers and entrepreneurs. Their whole thing is showing how creators do what they do. So they bring in a lot of different people from different industries that are at the end of the day creators. This is John Ho. He is the co-creator of Creator College. Creator College is like a insanely popular offer where again he teaches people how to become creators. And then there's Colin and Samir. I think Colin and Samir
Mhm.
are, I think they're the goats. I think everything that they have to say is golden. Most of their thing is definitely like leans more on the YouTube side of things. But all these guys have offers and they have offers because they've killed it in content and people see them as the experts and want to learn more. And it's such an easy funnel. They already know how to make the content. So they create the content. They, through that, they gather fans slash community. So now they have the comment section is buzzing. Like they could create any type of like free community, like a school or whatever. And they'd probably have a lot of people just because it's like, hey, we have a Discord. Do you want to talk to other creators and bounce ideas off the wall about thumbnails or hooks or new trends? And then they either do the course or they'll do the agency or slash one-on-one coaching and it just works for them. It's one that is so intriguing to me. And anytime I see someone tap into the space and succeed, I see a lot of inspiration from the big dogs that have been there and done that.
I agree with all of that, man. And you've turned me on to a lot of YouTubers that I've now am interested in hearing their story and their take on certain things. You name it, right? I think I think this is an interesting one. I think getting people out of the, well, I don't know what to do to get started framework is always going to be a great one. I think this niche of selling a framework of do this, and this to get going will always work. However, I think it's becoming oversaturated and the channels that don't follow any of this feedback that go borderline against the grain, they're like speed, that one channel I told you about. Like he he did something different, right?
Yeah.
And they had him on a call or on one of their episodes, and they're like, "No, you need to stick to a specific niche." Like he didn't. He was just like, "I'm all over the place. This is what I'm doing," and it blew up. Casey Nice, that's another one, right? Just different type of editing and style and what he does. But I think training the mind and getting it into a creative thought process, however you train that, it is what's going to get like the best results for teaching marketers in that creative economy. Otherwise, it's very Me Too. And Me Too does work.
Yeah.
There's loads of books that say you need to be different from yourself, from everyone else to create this new mark. Okay, great. Other people say just take what's working and just change a little bit and call it yours with your own little tone. That also works. It does, but I think it's getting saturated. So I wonder, the default basics of this stuff are great and grand, but I almost, I take it with a grain of salt because I think it's the creativity. Creativity is the number one valued aspect in a leader.
Mm,
Funny enough, worldwide. Not because I followed this framework and did ABC. I was able to think outside the box, outside what everyone else told me, and craft
yeah.
something new. So the creative creator economy, how to think out, getting people to think outside the box, and people like Mark Robert does that very well with Crunch Labs. How do you solve this problem? Let's think outside the box. So I love this stuff, and I think more creative mindset makes it even stronger.
Yeah. No, I think, and I think like those two school of thoughts are like very fair. I think there is if your son wanted to be a quarterback at Alabama, it's probably okay to take him to the guy that has created 20 Alabama quarterbacks,
Sure,
right? If he's that
sure.
coach, he has a method. It's like 20 out of 30 kids he's coached has gone to Alabama. The other 10, they went to other SEC schools. But you know that by, like you mentioned, like being a me too, yeah, that probably does work. And eventually you get your own little flair and your own little swagger and you can be like your own thing. But I think a lot of people will forever need like that stepping stone to really become the creator they want to be. And with I think more people entering the industry of like content creation and the creator economy, I think the people that help niches will end up being like really successful as well. So if there is a Colin and Samir and they teach YouTubers who are strictly doing a specific category of YouTube, then that by itself is its own market. And because going back to what you were saying, they took something that works, they thought outside of the box and said, this works for YouTube. And yeah, at some point it's going to become another Me Too strategy. But yeah, like the creative creators will come out on top.
I think the number one way for good personal brands to grow in the next decade, like you could take someone else's topic and almost verbatim copy their content. It's the uniqueness. Everyone's personality is unique, right? You can do an impression of Gary Vee. You can do an impression of Hulk Hogan. You can do an impression of Elvis, Rodney Dangerfield. The list goes on and on and on and on. Rodney Dangerfield wasn't the only person that did one-liners. Do you know who Rodney Dangerfield is? It might be dating me
This a
in saying that.
comedian, no?
Yeah, yeah, the red
Yeah.
tie.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Yeah, right, and, like, no one else sounded like him. There are a lot of people that had one-liners that were identical to his stuff, but he was so unique. That's what exactly. So, I think we are so deep in the world of just be your unique, goofy, weird self.
Hmm.
That works.
It does work.
That
It
works.
will work.
Alright, real estate.
Here's one that maybe won't be as fun for everybody because it's more on the business side of things and it can get a little bit boring talking about numbers. But I think there's a group of people out there who have tried to make it more approachable one way or another. But sometimes making things more approachable is selling a dream that doesn't necessarily exist. So I have my gripe here with some of these creators. We have Pace Morby and Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, huge name, 10X conference. He has the biggest people to ever show up there. I've worked with business owners who truly like see 10X as the solution for all their problems. And it
Mhm.
is, I am sorry to say this, great people behind those companies, but they believe a lie and they're getting terrible advice and it sucks because it's like, oh, if that's the kind of information I sense that they're getting, all the under other industries that they work for probably are a bit bogus. But things changed my mind eventually. I've I know that some of the 10X properties for Grant Cardone are actually ran pretty well. He has people that manage them. Personally, I know that Pace Morby is kind of full of BS. He works in the same industry that I work in, and he essentially has a program teaching people how to find really good deals in real estate. You find this deal and then he buys it. And yeah, you got a nice little check, but he's the one buying it. He's the one making the money. And unless you end up getting that really good capital, you're never gonna be in his world. You're never gonna touch anything that he's touched because what he's selling is a concept that is not in reality, it doesn't really come into fruition. And it's this whole creative financing thing that he preaches is essentially I can get you to find a deal where someone is going to want to sell their real estate, no money down. They'll finance it, seller finance, and you'll be able to pay it off through the profits that are made from your, real estate. And it's this dream that feels amazing.
It
It's
sounds
like,
too good to be true. Like, oh wow, okay. I could do this too.
yeah, I can do this too. And you know what? Like I can run this RV park. I can run this RV park and make a killing, because all I have to do is sell my house, buy the RV park, buy the RV, place it in the park. The park should run itself and Pace Morby helped me out. But no, what he wants is for you to go into one of his masterminds, pay the thousands of dollars, be a part of his group, source him deals. You're eventually going to burn out. He's going to rinse and repeat it with more people. Yeah, does he have testimonials where he helps some people? There are those lucky few, but that's how you get sold the dream.
There's a term for it, multi-level marketing.
Well, look, I'm not gonna be the one that says it, but in my experience, I haven't really seen the good side of real estate. I've had buddies pay for coaching programs and they're not doing very good for themselves. But it's that one industry that just seems fishy. I don't know, Joe. What are you thinking?
I mean, we'll combine this one here with, I know there's not that category for sales, but I mean, let's just combine them for the sake of it, right?
Hmm?
You're selling the dream. You're selling the dream and it's out of reach and it seems possible. And the likelihood of people actually making it is very, 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 very low. And they just keep selling, well, if you just do this, well, if you just do this, you know, everyone loves looking up how to get rich. And if I'm going to look up something, it's like how to make, you know, $50,000 a month. Oh, wow, great. If I see something, how to make, you know, $250 million a month on, ooh, that sounds interesting. It's a dream. It's a dream. You know, they've got success doing it, but if they could start all over again, and Grant even had that show like 10 years ago or whatever, right? We started all over. And I
Yeah.
get it. Real estate and investing and sales are like the way to do it in their mind. Yeah, I don't think it's, especially as housing prices like aren't what they used to be. It's still going to work. It's still going to get a lot of people and there's still a lot of money in it. That's for sure. What is the LTV? I don't know. I don't foresee it ever going high. No one's going to be like, well, you know, unless they're just like, oh, I just need one more course just to get me there. Or one more train. Maybe if I go to the thing, then if I get this person to do it, well, it's going to take more time. Well, then I need this on top of it. Eventually it runs out. Because
Turns out,
they don't get it.
it's like you know what you need? You need more money. That's what you need more money and you need to get like slapped in the face a couple of times. I think this is one of those spaces where I think in every other niche that we've covered, you can get your reps in. With this one, yeah, you get the course. And then what? Joe, where can we find $500,000 right now, liquid, so we can put that towards a property and hope it works?
Exactly. And I think a lot of these guys, and look, there's nothing wrong with getting lucky. Nothing. But to admit that luck is real, of course, these people got lucky. They were in the right place at the right time. Um, and they played the right hand. They doubled down and they kept it going. And I'm sure they made mistakes along the way and lost money, but you know, there was luck involved. And I'm not saying that's how they got. That's the only way. But to say that there's not is not true. You know, they had a few things that went really well at the right time, right place, and that's great.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. But that's not going to happen for everyone.
Nope. I would be my opinion on this niche would be different if the targeting was, hey, are you a multimillionaire and are interested in owning real estate to offset like taxes or something along those lines, right? You want that depreciation in the front end because you're going to pay like $500,000 in taxes this year. Okay. You're talking to a specific niche that has the ability and disposable income to learn from you and then actually put it into practice.
Sure.
Teaching this to somebody who is using $5,000 of their $10,000 emergency fund, that's bullshit. But let's move
True.
on to a different
Let's keep
niche.
going. Yeah. I think this is the last one here.
This will be the last one. This is the
Okay.
mindfulness, high performance, and health. So it's a little bit
Yes.
different from the fitness niche, which is just like, hey, we're gonna get jacked to the tits and we're gonna get all the ladies. This is more of a, hey, we're kind of gonna dial it in and be as optimized as we can. And I think Andrew Huberman is kind of like one of those examples where he's definitely inspired a generation of, hey, I think I'm going to start like really looking into, red light glasses, right? Or like blue light glasses. I want to protect myself against this, or I want to optimize that. I'm going to have the infrared light therapy when I wake up, or I'm going to, show my butt to the sun the moment that I wake up to really take in that vitamin C. there's so much, right? And this expands into so many different things. And some people might find, the ice baths to be a bit bogus, or to do the sauna and stuff. But as more and more studies are coming up on the way that we are consuming the world around us, there are personalities like Andrew and many others that are making that very digestible for us so that we can understand what's affecting our bodies and how we can, do something about it. And I think this is one of those situations where the world kind of becomes your oyster,
Hmm.
because I think you kind of mentioned it earlier about, being rich. It's like once you start making like a lot of money, and like you have the cars and the house and everything, the one thing those things don't do is buy you health. And so what actually buys you health is some of these recommendations that these personalities are making. And you might say, well, the margins are slim. Some people might say, if I can increase my lifespan by 2%
Yeah.
by doing these things, I'd definitely do it. So there's value there. And if I can look prettier or more handsome for a longer periods of time by doing XYZ, I'll definitely do it. And so for a position like the way that Andrew is, he becomes the driving force behind anything that he wants to do. And in this case, the podcast, one of the top 5 or top 10 podcasts, probably, like on YouTube and Spotify, and everything that he endorses, like, truly becomes a thing. I mean, we had the ecom episode not so long ago about
Yep.
AG1, and Andrew Huberman probably drives so many people to AG1 using his link,
Sure.
that if he wanted to do Huberman 1 as like the better supplement brand out there,
You
people
could.
would probably take it. If he sold his red light glasses, people would buy it. If he sold his own ice bath and sauna because this is the best combo, and this uses like titanium from Antarctica, it's like, where the hell do you even get that? Doesn't matter, because I'm promoting it. It's gonna sell. And I think this is one of those, you build so much authority because he becomes a blueprint to health, or anybody in this niche creating this type of content. Yeah, the world is your oyster. But Joe, I don't know how much you play in this world, but it's an interesting one.
I think this goes full circle because the first sort of people saying, I wake up at 5, I go to sleep at 2 a.m. Like the go, 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 go. And then like, okay, well, I need to optimize my life more. Okay, I'm watching Ali Abal stuff, blah, 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 blah. Productivity, yada, yada, yada. And like our bodies are a machine, right? And eventually it's the same story I was telling earlier. You just work yourself out of it totally. You neglect your body and you realize, well, like for me to be more focused, it's not a new tool I need. Maybe if I didn't drink, 700 milliliters of caffeine in the morning, that probably would help with clarity. Maybe if I, did some morning therapy or sunlight therapy or something, right? That I could be a better functioning machine. And I get it. Like there's the first one. Okay. Do you want to go from a 4-cylinder to a 6-cylinder? Like, all right, yeah, I'm a V12 now. Let's rock on. Now I'm on jet fuel, right? And all this stuff. But if everything's like running clunky, you don't change your oil. Like you got to change your oil. And I think this is like the changing of your oil, right? It's just, it's optimizing the machine of everything else and all the previous niches. It's the ultimate. I think it's usually the last thing to come, in my opinion. You've seen so many people talk about it. They grind, they neglect all of this stuff. They reach this pinnacle point where money can't buy it, and they're like, my health has suffered. I I, I can attest to it many, 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 many times.
Mhm.
It's been drained from it, doing the Hormozy mindset and stuff like that. So I think this is probably one of the best high ticket niches out there because the people who really want the high performance are already performing high, likely making a lot of money, and they're trying to get to Mount Everest. They just they
Wow.
can't get past that. How do you get to the top? You need that little extra bit, and it's going to cost money to do it. High ticket right there. Let's do this to make your body the ultimate functioning machine.
Wow, Joe, you painted the most beautiful picture. I think before the podcast started, I told you you're Michelangelo, and you're painting the ceiling. I think if you're in this niche and you are in that position, the one that you mentioned, Joe, and you can teach other people that are ready to take that extra leap, you can charge whatever the fuck you want.
100%. 100%. Totally. Dude, there's people
Man,
have so much money, they're willing to, like, freeze their bodies into, like, the future, right? Maybe we start that niche.
yeah, let's build a funnel for freezing yourself the Disney way.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna play a game, Joe, and this last part of it really is gonna take in everything that we've discussed, and we're gonna gamify it. So, Joe, we'll start. I want to hear your opinion first. It won't sway mine, even though I try hard not for it to let it happen. But if you have zero audience, let's say nobody knows you besides your wife and your son, and which lane would you pick? Would you go career and executive coaching, which is, right now, kind of an open lane. There is no household names. You get to teach other professionals how to take that next step in their career. Joe, I think I see you as someone that, I admire from a career perspective. And so if you were to tell me how to take that extra step, I'd gladly buy that offer. But then there's also the other side, which is the business and teaching trade, which I think is also something that you could execute tremendously well. I think in this space, we were already seeing people do this. There's some really big names, household names that you and I both reference probably in our daily conversations in one way or another. Is there a route that that calls your name?
Yes, totally is. I think, ready for this?
I'm ready.
I think both of them are great options. Okay.
Mhm.
When I take my last breath on this planet, and even question even goes to you too, right? Many, 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 many years from now, is it I did everything I could to make as much money as possible, or is it I did everything I could to make the biggest impact on others? And to me, it's the latter. So career executive coaching is that. Money will come with it, right? If I just wanted to just take people's money and scam and be an Iman or like what,
Yeah.
I'm sure I could do great, all that stuff right there. It comes with the downside of the money overrides the impact. You can have both, but I would much rather do the left. And that's actually something I'm aspiring to continue to do as well too. Yeah, it's a huge one for me. It's definitely on the left.
Well, Joe, I think you're already doing that. You've made a great impact on my life. And I said I wouldn't let you sway my answer, but I'm a liar. Honestly, look, I think that helping businesses grow is very fulfilling. I currently help some businesses grow themselves, and I love seeing that number go up because it feels like a leaderboard. I mean, honestly, I truly believe that the reason why I almost never stop working is because I feel like at some point I was like addicted to video games because I loved the grind of seeing like your
Yeah.
character level up. And there's also something really cool in seeing your Meta Ads account level up and seeing a client go from spending $100 a day to now spending $4,500 a day. That excites me and it will never stop exciting me. But you know what I really love? When someone hits me up on LinkedIn and says, Josh, I've seen your career progression. It's honestly all over the place. Can we have a chat? Because I want to learn how you did the thing that you did. And every time that happens, yeah, I'm just like, man, I can't wait for this chat because it's usually one or two things. It's usually someone just like me, like a young Latino kid, probably about to graduate college, and they're probably in the finance space and they want to become marketers and they don't know how to do it because they've already committed to a finance degree. Or it's someone in the industry that says, I feel like I'm stuck in my marketing career and I don't know how to grow. And I get to essentially tell them like what led me to my blueprint, which is, I mean, spoiler alert, network, network, network. I've never gotten a job I've applied for, but I've always gotten a job that someone has recommended me for.
Yeah.
And I would go ahead and do the career and exec coaching route because my offer would probably be I help young Latino men get to the desired like position at work faster than anything else. I would do exactly that, get my niche and my demographic and help folks that probably had that same experience as me that probably never had that guidance that I was lucky enough to have throughout my career.
Perfectly said. I 100% agree. That to me brings more fulfillment.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. What do we got in the next one here?
This next one, if you had to start from zero today, which niche are you
Oh,
in?
boy.
So this brings us into every single niche. We have, the business, the personal finance, the fitness and health, career coaching, productivity, creator economy, real estate, and mindfulness. So we kind of said, okay, Joe, if we had to choose between two, which one would you pick? And we got to hear Joe from the heart. But now every option's available from you. Does that change your answer?
I'm going to go with personal finance. I'm going to go with personal finance
Break it down for me.
because I've worked for enough people that have done personal finance. And I know that when it's done. I know how much money it can make when it's done poorly. I know how much money it can make when it's done correctly. I know how much money people are willing to dump into it. Corporations are willing to dump into it to have their ads seen on that type of content. And guess what? It has the highest payout on YouTube.
It does.
It does. Now, I'm talking all about money, and I was just talking about fulfillment like a couple seconds ago. However, I think both can be achieved through this sector. If I were to start from zero to say, now this would be assuming that I'm an expert in one of these 8 fields. Is that fair to assume?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
You're already an
okay.
expert. You're
If I'm
probably
just like,
just not
if I don't know
making
anything about,
content.
like, fitness and health, I definitely wouldn't do, you know? Yeah, I think fitness and health is great. I think it's going more to digital end of things. I think career coaching is great, but I think it's going in a more personalized side of things. Mindfulness is great, very high ticket. And number 2 would probably be mindfulness stuff. Real estate, I associate that with scammy stuff, and I think a lot of people do as well too. Creator economy, cool. Not one I would do to grow, but cool. Productivity, ever evolving. And the people who are watching it aren't looking to, like, you can make money off it, but they're looking for ways to be more productive without spending their money.
Sadly. Yeah.
Business, trade, yeah, that's probably up there, maybe like top 3 or so. That'd probably be 3rd place, something like that. How to go about doing ABC. But ultimately, what people pay money for is how to make more money.
Everybody wants to know how to make more money. I mean, that's why these like if you buy a course for trading or you get into a Discord for trading, like they charge so much money just to see how other people trade because the goal is make more, be happy, buy the Bugatti, buy the Miami high rise, and you're good. That's the dream. But yeah, I think you hit it so perfectly, Joe. Personal finance impacts people in so many different ways that I think you can do a little bit of that career coaching and personal finance. I think personalities like Ramit and Dave Ramsey have honestly done that. You hear the interviews that they have. Think what you want to think about Dave Ramsey, but the people that call in and like follow his advice, even if it was the money envelope method, dude, there's some people that actually were able to buy their first home. They were able to get a little bit of retirement and they're doing okay. So yeah, you impact people's lives no matter how you want to shape it. For me, I think I'd want to go the mindfulness route.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll give you a funny little story, very brief. Whenever I first met my wife and we were 16 and working, she was like, "So, like what do you do?" And I was like, "I actually have a YouTube channel and I'm like a motivational speaker. So I help people like be better versions of themselves." And this was a joke. She really believed me. She thought I had like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But a part of me kind of like that was a joke with a little bit of truth. Like if I could help someone become a better version of themselves, I think that would be very fulfilling. And I think the people that are in this space, like there's so many different ways that you can go about it, whether it's as far, maybe a little bit crazy as to manifestation, or as far to another side of like, here are the things that you can do to actually improve your health. There are people that truly become better by being part of these offers, these programs, these coaching, whatever you want to name it. And I think that can be a very fulfilling like job, almost like a career, because you're in the career of making people better.
I love that career. Yeah. So we're on the same page. That mindfulness side of things, yeah, totally. I think can be that's my number 2, but totally can be achieved through personal finance as well too. But yeah, if it wasn't personal finance, it would be mindfulness.
Glad to hear that.
Well
Quick
said.
question, Joe.
All right, let's hear it.
The best niche to start in 2026 has no famous faces in it. Would you agree or disagree?
Just so I understand the question, like no celebrity endorsement faces in it,
Yeah, it
or
essentially doesn't have like a big name behind it. So let's say if very hyper specific niche, right? Let's say if you wanted to be the guy that teaches men in their 30s how to get back into the Catholic religion, there is no real famous person behind it because there's no household names behind it. But and not to make this a straight comparison, but let's say you became the Joel Osteen of that path, right? So that's kind of where this question is heading. It's like,
boy,
is
let me
it better?
think here.
Is it better to tap into a niche that doesn't have a famous face behind it?
I'm looking at this 2 ways. Okay, perfect example. Grant Cardone. Okay,
Hmm.
he's getting older. as people do. There's going to be a time where he's not maybe not going to want to be on camera or just wants to just sit on the beach with his toes in the sand all day, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He has built a personal brand. There is no other. He's going to like, who do you sell off the Grant Cardone enterprise to? It's Grant. It's him. It's him only. That's it.
Yeah.
You could maybe rebrand it, or it needs to get bought out for all of their customer data from someone else who's younger. So I think there will be a new who's going to be the new Grant Cardone that's going to have their own outside the box mindset thinking. And I think we're in a wave right now. If whoever that is starting it right, they're getting a ramp up right now of experience. The next Grant Cardone. Now that already has a famous face in that industry, but if we talk about the best range start has no famous face in it. Ugh,
It's a good
this is could
question.
go a number of different ways.
It's a lot to think about, and I get it because you might be able to say, like, exactly the Grant Cardone route or the Dave Ramsey route, right? It's like, I can be like for Gen Alpha, I can be what Dave Ramsey was for that generation, right? It's like an older person talking down to a generation. It's like, I've been here, I've done that. Here's what you need to do to be successful. And I could do that in the finance space just by following the blueprint of the people that have done it in this space, right? You see what wins, you replicate it in your own style, you format it in a digestible format for the audience you're speaking to. And it's like, dude, I don't have to figure anything out. I'm just myself. I package the things that work and I win. Or
Okay,
do you want to be the guy that lands on the moon for the first time?
that's fair. So I think in your analogy of you gave a sub niche.
Hmm.
Like if you were to categorize that, I help 30-year-olds get back into the Christian faith type person. Like you can arguably say that is a sub niche of Christianity growth motivation.
Yeah.
Arguably, right? Okay. So I think the best niche to start in 2026 is a sub niche
Okay.
that has no famous face to it. A different take on something or even a hyper targeted niche.
And I know we're saying like sub niche or like a smaller niche, but I think like you become the niche, right? Like you and this, like I think when people say that statement, like you are the niche, it's because you can start off something new and like just fully make it the thing. Like when Clavicular, right, kind of became the face of looks maxing, he will forever be the person who started that for this generation.
So I would not start a Me Too channel. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't try and compete and do it slightly different than someone else.
Hmm.
And I know we're talking about like you are the sub niche, right? But I would sub it a little bit differently. And I see you could compete against someone and have a different take on it, sure. But I would do something that's unique in its own way that there's enough of an audience to follow.
I like what you have to say, Joe, but you know what? I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
And I'm going to disagree for one thing that I think can really benefit me if I were to start, working the niche that already has a famous person behind it. It's because I want to be compared and I want to be someone, I want my audience to say, he's kind of like that Ramit guy, but better. It's like he's next. And if I don't, I fear that if I don't have somebody that I can compete with technically, then I want there to be like a North Star,
Sure.
right? And it's like if I'm in the business world and I'm like, you know what? I love what Cody Sanchez did to the small business world, but I think I can do it better. I think I can do it better because I think I can speak to this generation, and this generation is more on their phones, consuming more content. I can get more views. I'll just Mr. Beastify the small business world and make it very consumable for a world that is kind of brain rotted. But I can get them there and convince them that they should be able to take the next step in some of my programs and everything. And so I think it is much easier to step into a world where there's already kind of like a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can,
Yeah.
yeah, like if you can find something and make it your own and find your specific audience, I think it might be easier. And it might be what I do. I mean,
Okay.
I take a lot of inspiration, and I just like, how do I make this my own?
That's fair. That's fair. No, I like both of our answers.
It's a good thing that we have good answers. Final last thing, Joe.
Let's do it.
I believe this is the tier list. So we're gonna have the 8 niches, and we're gonna rank them, you know, by realistic ease of building a 100K to $1 million plus offer business in 2026.
All right.
And so we're going to think about the demand, the saturation, and I wrote this word, but I can't pronounce it, differentiation. There
Mm,
you go.
there it is.
When we go to this next tab, our goal as operators, let's say we are operating after the click LLC,
Yeah,
is we need to agree. That's our job here. As business partners, we need to agree as to how we're going to rank these because these are the potential customers that we're going after. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I love this.
All right, so we have normal standard, S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, S being the best. And here we have our pool. We have the business, personal finance. We've gone through these. We know what we're going after. And so our goal is to understand, is this something that can realistically scale from 100,000 to $1 million? Because our goal as operators is probably to get some revenue share. And we really want to work with the
Mhm.
ideal clients that we can scale.
Okay.
You wanna Is there a category you wanna start off with?
I think the mindfulness goes as a S tier. It kind
And
of goes over what we were talking about earlier.
I think you
It,
you
it
knew we would agree on that one.
yeah. I think like, I mean, going back to what we were saying earlier, if we had to partner with someone who's at this many subs of this level of engagement, everyone's equal across all these industries, right? And they're currently doing 100K, let's just say a month, and we need to get them to 1 million a month. Who do you think we could do it the fastest with? I think mindfulness is definitely that top one. Let's see here. Well, let me ask this. Are there any other S tiers in here that you would pick?
Personal finance,
Would you do S tier over A tier?
I think my 2 and S tier are personal finance and mindfulness. And this I mean, this is where it starts, right? Mostly because you said it so well earlier. You know exactly what it looks like when it's done bad and what it can produce,
Mhm.
and when it's done well, what it can produce. And
Okay.
imagine
Yeah,
if
you're
you
right.
had it
You're right.
dialed down to the tits. $1 million months, month after month.
Personal finance, S tier. Okay. Now, how about, is there anything you put in a D tier? And before you tell me what it is, if there is anything, let me know if there is something.
My D tier.
You have one?
I have one that I'm thinking about, and I want to run this past you as my business partner, Joe.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
I think the creator economy is one that I don't feel necessarily strong about being able to scale because there are so many different offers out there that this isn't one that I can see exploding. I might honestly be willing to move it to C with productivity being the D, but that's kind of like where those two are putting me at. I think creator economy is extremely difficult. And the only way that this works is if you're working with a creator who has already exploded. This is not something that you build in public. This is something that you build and launch and do well once you're in the millions and millions of like followers and subscribers. And each video that you post when someone scrolls has so many views and it's such a high engagement rate. Like the way to get there just seems stupid.
I get it. I would agree with you. I would agree that creator economy goes into D tier. And I say that because look, the goal of this exercise is to go from 100K to a million as fast as possible. So which of these have a difficulty? What is their customer willingness to pay? Well, if you're trying to learn how to become a creator, you'd likely learn how to become a creator so you can make a bunch of money. You haven't already gotten there yet. Like no one who's successful on YouTube is like, I'm going to go follow a creator account, like, and pay them a high ticket. So I don't see a high ticket being a reasonable or realistic thing at all for that. So I see it being a low ticket, high volume
Mhm.
dream pipeline. It's very difficult to do. Whereas personal finance and mindfulness, definitely high ticket. So that's why I do creator
Definitely.
economy at D tier.
Right. How do you feel about real estate?
Well, you can definitely do high ticket there. I think depending on who the client is and the level of trust behind it,
Mhm.
I think, I mean, if you're investing into real estate, there's two type of people that go into that buy these courses and stuff. They put on a credit card. They're just like, oh, this is going to make me rich. And it's people who are already actively doing it and want to leverage their knowledge with other knowledge to be able to do better at what they're doing. So
Yeah.
a $2,000 investment to meet with 6 other people that could help them make 40 million is nothing to them. So I think depending on what the offers are, you can make a lot of money in real estate offers. I'm going to put real estate as an A. It's my opinion.
Ooh,
Only
even
because the
though
people that are buying it have the real target. You could do a really high ticket.
yeah. No,
You
yeah.
could.
Even though I don't agree in the industry and where a lot of these people are at now, the only reason I feel like that type of emotion is because of how well I know it works
Yeah.
and convincing people that this is a solution. And those high tickets close like a motherfucker.
They close, man. Like the stuff that Pace does, we talked about.
Hmm.
Like I'm not even including that in here because that's like, yeah, it is higher ticket, but it's like it's mid low in the realm of like if you invest $100,000, you could like that high ticket to the right people, commercial real estate, to network with these few people here, to bring in this level of business, to talk with these bankers, to leverage these assets, blah, yada, yada. That's millions of dollars of growth for you. And it seems like pennies you're paying just to get that. So you want to go from, you're at 100K right now doing it well. You can get to a million real quick if you do. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Done
So
it for commercial real estate guys, actually.
look, there, you can probably get like 20 really successful people that just want that extra layer.
They have the
And there you
money
go.
already.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Productivity, the Ali Abdals of the world.
I think
Personally, I
first
was
thing comes
sweat.
to mind is the C tier. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
Because so many of the, I've never bought an Ali Abdallah thing. I never bought anything from any of these people because I take their information and you know what I do with it? I go right to Tinkertown. I'll do it myself. I'm not
yeah,
going to pay you for this. I'll do it myself. Um, I'm in my productivity mess because I'm tinkering too freaking much. So I'm going to watch you to learn on how to do it faster, but I'm not going to, I'm already in my hole. I'm just going to
yeah,
tinker around. I'm going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. So I think it's a C tier way. I do think there are ways to teach productivity that could help other people pay to sell software. That could be something. It all depends what kind of sub niche it is, right? But if it's the
yeah.
continued Ali Abdal stuff, it'd almost be D tier too. I, mean, I would be between C and D. What do you think?
I will. You know what? I was also putting it
Okay.
towards C or D, and I think I would double down on D.
I'm glad he did that.
Mostly because, and look, I still have this up on like another screen. I bet the 1.6 million people that watched Dan Martell's "How to Be So Productive It Feels Illegal," I bet 1% of that viewer audience actually did something different with their life.
I bet Rafus, I bet 1% of them did something that next day. And I bet 10% of that 1% did something the day after.
Mhm.
And then maybe 10% of that 10% of that 1% did something the third day until the next video comes out. The best productivity hacks of 2027, even better than 2026. Oh, new year, better product. Oh, now I need to. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't think this is an audience that says, "Thank you so much for like I just watched this 20-minute video. Now I'm gonna take the like 4 hour like coaching course." No, they're not. Like the people that watch these videos have ADHD, and you know what they really need? They need
Correct.
Adderall.
Correct. 100% correct. Because if you want them to, if you want your audience to keep watching for continued value, right? If I get value on being productive, I'm not going to watch you anymore. Like his goal
Yeah,
is to get you to be productive. So you're not doom scrolling or watching content left and right while you're working. Of course, it's not going to work. You know,
not.
yeah. Okay. Career coaching.
How do you feel about this
Now,
one?
the question was to go from 100K to a million. Had nothing to do with passion, had nothing to do with fulfillment, had to do with
Hmm.
strictly monetary. I've been in this industry for a while helping other coaches, and it's tough. It's really tough. But I also, if you're already at 100K, I mean, in that world of career coaching, it comes down to referrals.
Hmm.
I'd probably put it as C tier.
C tier.
It's really, really, really tough to grow those. Really tough.
I wouldn't even argue with you on this one, mostly because I think the path to becoming a giant in this space, I can't imagine the number of talks that you probably have to do, right? Like you get hired by a corporation to go talk to them about how to do XYZ, how to be better at an organization or whatever. And then throughout those talks, hopefully someone tells you to go to another talk and then someone really likes you there and they invite you to their podcast and then you make the podcast rounds and then maybe you do bigger speaking engagements and then you get into the well now I'm hosting my own stadium tour. But in order to get there, right now there's one household name and that's Tony Robbins. To do that for a regular person from 100,000 to a million, you would have to be like career coaching the 1% of the world, like the ones that just want to continue to dominate. And in that case, like they probably got there without your help. They probably already have their number one person, the person that's also on the top right next with them, like rubbing shoulders. this seems like a hard one to scale to a million.
Indeed it is.
Another hard one that I think that takes a lot to get to that, $1 million in fitness coaching and health coaching. I don't see that happening. I would put this in the B to C range only because of the fact that, and I've never taken one of these programs, so I wouldn't know. But my hunch is people join, they never saw, like, well, maybe 10% of the people that join really take it seriously. They are your testimonials. The rest maybe fall off. Life comes in the way. Things change. It's hard to get the referrals, and maybe you get to a really good point like the CBOM route where you now have products in stores, you have SKUs, but we're talking about taking someone from 100,000 to a million with some type of offer. And I don't think this happens to someone that's coming into the space and really trying to dominate it. Even though they're making 100K, they will find their ceiling. There's only so much they can do before they have to do something crazy like owning an actual gym. I'm leaning B to C. Joe, I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm leaning C. Thinking B is the in between. Like it could go either way. Same thing here with the fitness and health thing. You've gotten so far great. There's a lot of competition out there. It is a volume. It is a quantity and a volume game at that point. And it's a crowded space. And I mean, I also think of it too. Like you're fat. You want to be in shape. You get in shape. Then what do? Stop working out. Then what do? You get fat again. Then you go back to working out, like back and forth, back. It's, very few people are in the continuous, like, I'm disciplined to do this. Like the people who are there are already in shape.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah.
their own routine going. They don't need someone else. It's short lived. The people that stick around will typically stick around into it. You're able to, I mean, there's still lots of stuff out there. Like, look, if you want to consider like Ozempic and Wegovy and fitness and health, want to lose weight? Inject this in your body, lose weight. No wonder they made a bunch of money because it's less effort to get a better result.
They're making a killing.
Making a killing because it's zero effort to get maximum result. Totally works. Who wants to go to the gym? And I mean, few people. We all know everyone knows is what you have to do. Everyone who's overweight knows what they need to do to be in better shape and be healthy. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
In business trade, I'm going to put right in the middle at B. So I can go either way with it.
I think we've done a really good job at Business Partners of After the Click LLC to bring these together because I fully agree.
Now
I
an
think
S-corp.
I think, I mean, when we broke it down, I think I said you can go down two paths and it's either this path or this path. And I genuinely think that you can be very successful operators in any route. I would gladly be an operator for Iman Gotzi because I know that their offers rake it in, but then he's an anomaly. I don't think everybody who wants to take that route ends up becoming anything of significance. And of course, do it for the Alex or Moses of the world. If we caught him early on, I mean, I think that fire was there from the spark. Like, I think there are a lot of people in this space who are teaching others how to be better at their business. And there's so much potential. They're doing the right thing. They're doing it with great intentions. They have good students. They're seeing the results. I think that is the type of business that we take from 100K to a million quickly by adding everything that we know about the worlds that we know.
Sure.
But it's one of those things where you're going to be tugged in different ways, and it's not as black and white as it might seem.
I would agree with you. You can go in many different directions, but I think we definitely align these nicely. I wouldn't change a thing. Based on the goal that you put in there. This has been a great episode, man. We got a lot of great conversation.
Yeah.
We got more. There's more.
Ooh, let's do one last one.
One last one. Let's do it.
Of every offer on that ladder, which one would you actually buy? I think the free content, this one's easy to exit out. I think that's one that we consume easily.
Right.
There's a lead magnet, which I would want to say you purchase it with your email address, right? With the fact that you're going to be bombarded. The low ticket, I've done many of these. Mid ticket, I've partaken. Reoccurring, personally, not one that I like. I don't like a reoccurring charge because I know what it does to me mentally. High ticket, there's definitely something to it, and we'll avoid a different game.
I would say I purchase a lot of low ticket stuff, and I word it this way. It's just like talking with people in general or reading a book. I'm willing to take a grain of salt or two or three of value of what I got from it to move forward. And if I get nothing out of it, it was $20 and it was minimal time on my end. But if I got to go through like a mastermind of this whole lengthy thing and do homework and get nothing out of it, I'm gonna be pissed. So like I don't mind buying a bunch of low ticket stuff and doing it myself. It's on my pace, my time to get a taste of if there's any value in it. And then if there is value in it, that's can be swayed on higher ticket stuff. Is to see at least what they offer. But I buy tons of low ticket stuff just to give us one piece of grain of salt. This one
Peace.
little thing I learned for $20. That's for help. That's helpful for me. I'm in. I'm totally in.
I like that. Yeah, I like the way that you think, Joe. I think for me, I like a little bit more than just a grain of salt, and I like to actually see it. It's like I don't need the one on one, which is a high ticket most of the times.
Mhm.
Like I don't need you to come in and like change my world because I know that if I step in, I get what I need and like exactly what I need, and I apply it into my life, then I'm gonna be okay. And so I'd rather kind of skip the step of learning one thing. Just give me the entire blueprint and I'll apply it into my life and I'll give you a good review and we're all happy.
There you go. That's fair. That's fair. I like that. I like that. We're in the same mindset of thought there. I maybe I spend more time on more low ticket stuff, figuring out how I could do it my own way. But either way, I think it's super valuable for sure. This has been a great episode, man. I really enjoyed this.
Man, Joe, we spoke so much about the different niches and those were just eight that really came to the top of my head. But as we talked about, there's micro niches and there's personal niches. There's so much of this, and we will continue to see this evolve. But if anybody makes it to the end of this video at any point of the year and they say, I am growing my personal brand and I want to build the right funnels, create the right offer, and help as many people as possible, hit us up. I think we
Yes.
can. I think we can provide you with the right insights to, like we mentioned, get someone from 100,000 to 1 million. Maybe for you, it won't be in a year, but we can definitely get you to a point where you feel like Joe said. Well, I'm working 20 hours a week, and now I get to spend it with my family, and I
Mhm.
get to do everything that I want. That's the whole point of an offer, to give you back the freedom that you've always wanted. And we're really good at building that type of thing.
We've done
So,
it
Joe,
before many
yeah,
times. Yeah. Good stuff, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank you all for listening in. The next one's going to be, I'm not sure what topic. Well, you'll find out soon. Whatever it's going to be a great one.
all right, see ya.